Welcome to another episode of the Popko Project Podcast. Today I'm joined by post-hardcore band A Static Lullaby. How you guys doing?
Hey,
we're doing good, Johnny Pops. Doing good.
Like I said, call me whatever you want. Did you say Poppy before? I think someone said Poppy.
Yeah, I think Poppy. Yeah, we threw that one up.
I had a girl call me that once. Not in a
whoa,
not in a weird kind of way, but yeah, it was called Poppy. I've gone by many names over the years, but my favorite is Asshole.
Yes.
From my wife. But big news. Set the tone. This isn't hey, remember us. This is we are back. You guys have a new album. It's out right now. And it's a live version of an album from the past called And Don't Forget to Breathe.
Yep.
It's super exciting. What's all this been like? Because you guys have had a long history, 25 years. How does it feel for you guys?
It's pretty crazy. I mean, when we started, we were trying to get rights to the vinyl, and it was kind of a pain in the ass because we wanted to do a vinyl release when we got back together. That was like the big thing, and it wasn't panning out. And somehow it did pan out, but not the way we wanted it to.
Yeah,
and I think during that whole conversation of like, what are we going to do if we can't get the album? It's like, well, let's just re-record it, and we kicked that around for a while. And we got it, but we got like a limited pressing. So we had like a limited time to like sell it. We got like, or we'd have to buy more from a third party, which is not how we wanted to do it. So Joe just took it into his own hands and just set all this stuff up without really kind of saying stuff in passing, but like just set it up like this is where it's going to get done. And yeah, it just kind of, it's been a whirlwind. It kind of happened. We went to a studio one night, did 2 takes of each song, and then now we have a live record. So it's pretty crazy.
I think there's like, he's saying in passing, there was conversations, and mostly it's, I have an idea and I'll let Dan filter my ideas because I get overzealous at times. But, when we were talking about it, there was ideas, like he had said, of a re-record, but if we believe that what we made when we were 19 years old was it was transformal, or it was in itself, it was at the time we felt almost genre bending, and it was new and it was fresh, and it was part of creating some type of scene. Why would we go back and try and re-record that just so we could have rights to go and publish something? We started playing some live playthroughs and doing some shows where we're playing the full album live. And I said, you know what? Let's just lay this down, and then we'll get our record. We'll revisit this thing 25 years later and look at it and see what the songs mean to us today later in time, right? And I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about the band, being able to rehash these songs and play them again. They meant a lot to me in a different way. I lose myself a lot of times sitting there watching Dan sing these songs, and parts that hit with me when I was 19 years old are still hitting with me at 43. And it's really, really, really a cool thing, dude.
Yeah, that's one of the questions I'm going to ask you. Just like, it's been so long, and you guys were, like you said, you're 19 years old, and 25 years later, like, how does that feel for you guys? Because you're different humans, right? It's a lifetime ago.
Yeah, I mean, for that, it's kind of like when that was all being written when we were younger, like it just felt like autopilot. Like it just came out so organically, and like everything just kind of happened. Like we had almost the whole record in like within weeks, maybe a month and a half, like of being a band. And it was crazy. Like it all just came out so organically. I'd never written anything like that. And Joe kind of just spit out his idea of like, here's like bands I want to do, and like mix it up and like hash together like a big amalgamation of all these bands. And I was like, okay, I'll go listen to all those bands and figure out what makes them fit, and then we'll try and do the thing. But yeah, I mean, with these songs, like for me, I never stopped being on the ride with these songs. I vibe with them still like the same I did then. Like I put myself back in the space of writing them and being in the studio, and they feel really good. But I'm super interested to hear like your guys' thoughts, like being newer in the band. Like, what do you guys think about the older songs compared to like the newer songs? We haven't really gotten into a lot of the newer stuff.
Well,
but,
I guess in a sense, he's right. These are new to you.
Yeah.
Right. The experience is new for you, right? So Dan and I are always looking back on it. You guys are looking forward to it. Like you had your first release day and everything, right?
Yeah, it's kind of cool to be like on the other side of it. Like you guys released the original however many years ago, and then now we're here being a part of the re-release. Like it's it's nice to be able to put our 2 cents into it. Not that we changed anything, but we have different playing styles than the guys who originally played on the record, and we bring different things to the table, I think. You know, so it's really cool to be a part of it. I mean, I'm very honored to be a part of it.
Yeah, me too, man. It's one of the coolest things I've been a part of. It was really interesting trying to not totally emulate what was on the OG record, but Dan was talking to me about it. He was saying, try to make it a little bit your own. Don't just, copy and paste what's already there, which I did struggle with because I feel like when I learn something, I try to learn it to a T.
Me too.
Rather than just, put a little bit of my own stank.
But I feel like, with the production of that album, it's like you can't hear everything perfectly. And so I'm not, it's like you almost have to. There's a song called Charred Fields of Snow, and there's a part where there's like almost like a shreddy like pentatonic guitar thing, and like, dude, I can't hear what that guy's doing. So like I just did the closest thing that I could to it, and it sounds cool, like, but it's different. It's different. I play it different than he would have played it. I hit the strings different than the original guitar player. I think his name was Nate would have played it, and it as a result, it's a different record.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
I think it's cool too, like seeing the songwriting evolution to, like you were saying, Dan, to your point of, there's new songs that we haven't necessarily gotten to that yet, but like the songwriting progression, I feel like there's, if you look at these new songs that we have coming out versus these older ones that we're going through and redoing, like you can see the songwriting progression, and it's like the core of it is still there, but there's been little pieces that have been pulled in, and it's still a Static Lullaby, but it's evolved. It's cool to see.
Now, were you guys fans of the band prior to joining, or?
Yeah, I mean, I had known about the band. I had a lot of mutual friends with these guys, and so like, when actually Kyler and I used to play in a country band together, and funny enough,
this is quite different, yeah.
Yeah, and so he came out. He had hit me up one day and was like, "Hey, my band's looking for a guitar player." And I was like, "Oh man, I don't know if I want to be in a band." And I said, "What's your band?" And he said, "A Static Lullaby." I was like, "Bro, shut up!" Like, what the hell? I was like, "How do you even know those guys?" I was like, so it was a trip. I was like, "Of course, I want to be a part of that." But I definitely knew about these guys before I joined up.
Yeah, it's funny. I know Nick was kind of in the scene because he was in like a band around town that we hung out with for a while called Assume We Survive. He was with them for a little bit. And then Kyler was never like really into this genre. This is not his genre at all. He's like, well, maybe.
I'm just not.
You were starting to get into like Turnstile and stuff, and like at least dropping those on me. I was like, oh, you like that kind of music? Like, check this out. And him and I started a cover band because we played video games together. We met on COVID. We met on Call of Duty during COVID. That's how we met. And I started to vibe with them more and more, and we actually started a cover band with my buddy Ray and his buddy. What was his name? That guy. And yeah, we were having fun, and like I had a lot of fun playing with him, and he was like very like into working out the songs, like figuring out the harmonies, trying to do new stuff for the songs, which I'm like, absolutely not. We're not doing new things to cover songs this week. If we're a cover band, no way. But yeah, it was fun working with them. So when this opportunity arose, I was like, well, I got a bass player, so cool.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, I'm super stoked to have these guys with us. Today, we had our podcast a couple weeks ago, and Dan and I got into kind of this little bickering match about the band being together for 25 years and the evolution, and was it really 25 years because we weren't active during those times? And I said, well, it existed for it. But I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that throughout all of the different iterations of the band, today I feel very, very comfortable, and I'm very, very happy who I'm playing next to, and I couldn't be happier to share this with them. So it's pretty rad.
Likewise, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, full disclosure, I was not familiar with you guys prior to getting the information from your PR team, and I feel like that's a sin because you guys came out at a time where I was like really big into this style of music. Big fan of Finch, Story of the Year, which I kind of feel like there's a little bit of a similarity there, and I'm like, how did I not hear about these guys a long, long time ago?
Yeah, we were like Finch's right hand boys back in the day. Like we were touring with them all the time, and they kind of like took us under their wing our very first tour. We rode in the van with them. They were the homies. Still to this day, they were the homies.
Yeah, the greatest thing that happened for this band, and we told the story before, but we had made good friends with Finch, and I winded up going out on tour with them as a merch guy, but I brought all of our demos for the album And Don't Forget to Breathe, and I winded up passing those out all over the country. And that was at a time when you couldn't get an opportunity to do that. You had your local high school or whatever, and that's as far as that CD was going to go. And I was able to drop it off in New York and Boston, and that thing spread like wildfire. And we were able to, you know, secure a deal and play some really cool festivals. And then it kind of shot off from there. And, you know, I think that's what we wanted to do. You know, we believed in the song. So, you know, shout out to Finch for helping us out in that regard.
Yeah, so for my listeners, viewers who may not be familiar with you guys, talk to me a little bit about, like, you know, your sound, your style, and those early years. You know, you kind of gave a little bit of a peek into you know, going out with Finch and kind of doing the hustle. Talk about the early stage of the band.
And Dan was saying it earlier, and I had my musical taste. Dan and I grew up, and we were just pretty much punk kids, right? We were super into punk, and we got into ska punk a lot. And as we grew up in high school and did bands and got a little bit older, then our band separated. But my musical taste started to change, where I was getting into some screamy music and some metal and some hardcore. And he kind of hadn't dipped his toe in that jacuzzi yet. So you're chode? How did you do that? You put your whole chode in there?
That's impressive. I'm not even mad. I'm impressed.
But I started getting into this, you know, screamy stuff, and I fell in love with a band like Poison the Well. Like, they were probably like one of my favorite bands. You know, I saw them at Chain Reaction, and it kind of changed my life. There was a local hardcore scene here with bands like Throwdown and Adamantium, and even Bleeding Through and stuff like that. So 18 Visions. And I was really getting into that scene, but I still had my heart in this punk and melody thing. And you know, Dan and I grew up best friends. We weren't in the same band at the time, but when we had the opportunity to play together, it was like, okay, well, let's take this and let's take this and put this together, because you got a beautiful voice and I could do this screamy shit, and let's play some pissed off music and kind of do our own thing. And it really kind of turned out to where, I guess we were naive at the point, but we really thought we were doing something that nobody else was fucking doing at the time. Like, legit, like, we really thought this was brand fucking new. And I guess to a degree it was, but, you know, there was other bands. You know, The Used was doing their thing. Like you said, Story of the Year was a band called Big Blue Monkey, and I actually saw them prior. Finch was doing their thing. So we all kind of came out the same time. I think Thrice had just released Artists in the Ambulance.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But Thrice was kind of on the cusp of doing that. And we were influenced by bands of that.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot available. It was like, when we were starting to write, we had heard there was like Poison the Well, which we were like, okay, we're going to take some elements of that, but like more Jimmy Eat World like.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's kind of what we were trying to get to, but like, we didn't know so many other bands had the same thought at the same time across the nation.
Yeah.
So when we played our first shows with Finch, and we're like, oh shit, this band is already kind of doing shit like that. They're more like Deftonesy, but like, it's the same thing. They're like pulling in a different element of something else. So like, give it their own sound. And then I think we heard the Thursday EP that came out, and it was like, I don't know if it was an EP or if it was like 2 singles from Full Collapse, and I think it was like Cross Out the Eyes and Understanding in a Car Crash.
Probably, yeah.
And we're like, holy shit, this is like that too. What the fuck? Like different, but like still like that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is happening. And then when Joe went on tour with Finch, he's like, dude, I heard this band Take You Back Sunday, and this band Brand New, and he like brought it back. We're like, what the fuck is everyone's doing this shit?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
what the hell's going on?
when we were writing these songs, it's so funny. I remember he brought up Thursday, but I could remember I had this little jukebox CD radio thing that we would play in my garage, and then we'd write songs, but we would put a whole song together in a day. Like I had these lyrics and I had a book, and
Yeah, he's a notebook.
Dan would come in with a riff, and I think we'd bang that thing out in 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah,
and
like
then we did like 10 days in a row, and we had a full album sooner than later. And I guess that's kind of the secret, the magic there is that we didn't think about it. We were just excited to make music and do something that we thought was brand new, and it turned out to be kind of special. So
Does it feel like 25 years ago now? That's a long time.
Fuck fuck yeah,
Definitely
dude.
feels like
I'm old. Oh, yeah, dude, I hurt. Yeah, no, it does. I think there was, when we played our first show back in 2024,
yeah, August.
I deal with anxiety, stage anxiety, and playing, and a little bit of social anxiety and all that, but that was at a whole new level for me, bro. Like it'd been so long and I wasn't used to it anymore, and doing that and getting this thing going again. I don't know if it's the wanting to be great and be great live and be accepted and have people remember it the way that I remember it, or how I feel that they deserve to hear it. But that's eased up over the last year and a half, 2 years. And but when we came back, I felt it. And I don't know if the anxiety made me feel older, but but definitely, dude. I 25 years ago, I definitely feel that for sure.
I was shitting bricks that show, dude.
Yeah.
I was so fucking nervous.
As cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, you were there. That's it.
I was so nervous. Biggest show I ever played by far.
Yeah, when we got back together, Joe and I had already been talking and kicking it around, and we'd already started jamming, but Hawthorne Heights called us out on the Instagram because they had this festival, it was for Lovers Fest at the Coliseum out here in LA. And they were looking for other bands to play, and they hit us up and asked if we wanted to play, and we said yeah. So that was kind of like our
reintroduction.
Push out the door, get back out there in front of a bunch of people. It was pretty crazy, but it was cool. It worked out great.
And I don't think I realize or understand how big you guys may have been. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because you toured with a bunch of different like big names. You mentioned Hawthorne Heights, Brand New, all that kind of stuff. I don't think I can appreciate really how successful you
Mr.
guys
Pop,
were.
how old are you, Mr. Pop? I don't want to age you, but how old are you?
I'm 43.
Okay, so we're the exact same age.
We're the same age, yeah.
All right.
I did the math. I said 25 plus 19, yeah.
There you go. That's it. Okay. I can say, and this is, I don't know, it's a little bit weird. We got big. We got very big. Very big at a point in time. I mean, we were one of the top selling shirts at Hot Topic across the nation. We were on MTV. We were, just say that is a thing. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I think, we were there was always a huge number. The number was, you're successful if you sell 100,000 records, right? That's the plateau, right? For most indie bands. And we did that, right? So like, I think, not necessarily do I look back. I mean, we were there. We were getting secured for large tours and playing with huge acts. And you know, I don't know if it was starting Major League Baseball, but we were definitely, you know, relief pitchers for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think like it was all really a really quick rise to that height too. Like we, you know, being a band, we had our first show within like 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks of us starting the band, of the concept of the band. And that show was a drive-through night at Chain Reaction because our bass player at the time was great at booking and knew Richard from Drive-Through and the guys from Finch and got us on a show with Finch starting line and Alistair. And that was our very first show. And then people were like blown away. We didn't have a demo. We were not prepared. But that kind of is like the way it went for a while. Like we had all these songs. We didn't know how good they were. I mean, we thought we were good. We thought we were a good band. We thought we were like better than any of our old bands, which was huge to us. But then like being put in kind of like the minor leagues and like kicking ass in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
And then we kind of stepped up the next year, and then we put out our record and we sold a shit ton of records, and we were like, all right, we're on the trajectory. And I think that we were biggest in like probably 2003, 2004 was like our big, well, I mean, it kind of ramped up with the Britney Spears cover in 2008 too. Like that, I think that's probably the biggest we've ever been, but we had already broken up and didn't really get a about that fame. So but yeah, 2003, 2004, we were like peaking, and we made the big mistake and we signed to a major.
That was the, you know what?
They buried us.
It's Dan and I were already kind of going in separate, we were going in the same direction, but the band was separating as far as music that we wanted to write for the second album. And when we got signed by Columbia, and got a nice little advance and money, and we, you know, had great experiences. We recorded in like Indigo Ranch where Tom Petty recorded, and Sound City, right?
Sound City was after.
Oh yeah.
We were at like Ocean.
So we got the opportunity to do some really, really cool stuff with that record, but the band was so fragmented and broken by the time that we got to recording our second album that that was kind of doomed. So we paused for a while, and then Dan and I picked it back up in 2006.
Yeah, I mean, we were on the road. Like we would go out on the road and we'd be gone 10 months straight. Like we were hammered. Like we were donezo. And like the personal relationships were just totally worn thin. Like no one could stand each other. We had been living with each other in a freaking van or RV at whatever point it was. And yeah, no one was getting along. We had just sat on this record for so long, and like we're not home to like jam and have new ideas and like be a band. We're just like people in a van going to do a thing, going to do a job. And it became that way. So like us not having a space to like create music together, really, because like there's no computers or Pro Tools or laptop. There's none of that. Then you can get like a 4-track, but it's like one at a time. It's not really like jam. We weren't bringing acoustics on tour because there's not really much room in the van with all the stuff. So yeah, we would get out there and like we were just doing a job, and everyone got into like different music tastes. And then like Joe and I felt like, you know, our band was still like the core sound of our band, but like everyone else kind of, I want to do like kind of stuff. I want to do this. Like it was very like,
I kept calling them Trekkies. I remember. I think the exclamation point was to bring it back to And Don't Forget to Breathe. I winded up mailing a copy of And Don't Forget to Breathe to the studio when we were recording our second album. And I opened it up in front of him and I asked him, "Hey, does this record sound anything like this one?" Because it fucking doesn't. And so I was done. I was so done by that time. But yeah, we got to go and back again, and signed to Fearless and did 2 more records after that.
Yeah, and Fearless, like we kind of broke up, and Joe and I couldn't take it anymore. There's like 3 months that passed by, and I was like, "You want to start this up again without these guys?" He's like, "Yeah, let's fucking do it." So we started up. We got a new lineup then, and we found our buddy John Martinez, and we he found us. The great Dame Poppin found us. Dame Poppin is now Nashville session player. He played with Dashboard Confessional.
I think he's in
he's
the
in the
fray.
fray right now.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So he saw like some ad that we were trying people out, and he like relentlessly hit us up. And he said, I don't care. We were like, we already found somebody. He's like, I don't care if you found someone, I'm better. And that's not his personality at all, but he was going for it. And he was like 20.
Oh yeah,
20 years old.
At Berkeley.
Yeah, he was at
nice.
Berkeley.
Yeah,
and he came and he just shredded my face off. And I was
with
like,
a 5-string.
yeah, you got it, bud. He played me some Dave Matthews Band. I was like, all right,
win, bro.
What you doing? But yeah, that's one of our claims to fame.
I think our biggest claim to fame is our drummers in My Chemical Romance.
Yeah, Jared Alexander. But I mean, he was also in Death by Stare.
Yeah, I guess you're
and
right.
Then Anthem. He was that's not ours to claim, but Dane, that one's ours. That's one of our boys.
Yeah. So to answer your question, we were the best platform for bands to get huge off of. So anybody that went out on tour with us, you know, they eclipsed us pretty soon.
That's how like Trustkill, I don't know if they had a great relationship with like our booking agent or whatever, but somehow like any band that they were launching, they would throw them out with us and we would skyrocket them to like,
you're going to the top, baby.
We took Hawthorne Heights. I don't know if it was the first, it was one of the
Victory.
Yeah. Oh, was that Victory?
Yeah,
Victory. It was not Josh Trustkill, Victory. But yeah, we took them out. I think it was their first national tour.
Oh, it was.
They opened
Attack, the same thing. Who else?
Yeah, Attack. Census Fail when we were on the Movie Life tour.
Oh my god, dude.
Census Fail was opening, and I remember the guitar player came up to me, and he was so little, Dave.
Yeah.
He came up and he's like, hey man, what's that move that you do on stage with your head and your feet? I was like, I don't know, I just play. And he's like, well, Richard from Drive Thru, Richard told me to just like watch you and do whatever you do.
That's awesome.
Like always the bridesmaid. We're that band.
That's right.
Yeah. But we got no qualms with it. Like we like staying down in that tier, and like, I mean, we don't love watching bands get bigger than us, but I mean, at the same time, like, we got to have those first time experiences with those bands and like actually like help them kind of pave the way for themselves.
The thing,
tell stories and whatnot.
Yeah, I think we did a co-headliner with My Chemical Romance before they became, like, literally a month before they became the biggest band in the fucking world. They released 3 Cheers probably like 2-3 months later or something like that.
Yeah, when we were on tour, they actually had a 4-track, and Ray was just writing that whole record on the 4-track the whole time.
Sick.
Yeah, I remember him like writing, I forget what's Hang 'em High. I think that's what it's called. And we also have a song called Hang 'em High. But he was writing that song, and like, I think we're in like Kansas City. Place in Kansas City. But yeah, those crazy times.
Sorry, I don't know if we answered your question. We answered a lot though.
I don't know what I forget what I asked you.
It was 2003, 2004. That's when we were the biggest.
Yeah, there you go. We like to boomerang.
No, that's great. Now you said, you know, the downfall may have been when you signed. Was it because there was also pressure from that moment, or like did that play into it?
I think we had not had a chance to like ever get on the road or ever get off the road and write music. So I think I had one song that I come up with like just during like sound checks. I was just messing around with some stuff, and we had not sat down and written anything. And the whole plan was when we went to Columbia from Ferret, that they bought our record out so they could re-release it, shoot a video for our song Shooting Star, which was like our big song that we hadn't yet shot the video for. And out of nowhere, we thought we actually went in, we re-recorded some songs, and we did a new song, which was actually one of our first songs that we wrote that didn't make the record. And we were going to add it to the record to make it new. And basically we did that. We waited a couple months, and they just said, oh yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. Get in the studio. You have a month and a half to write a record.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what?
Yeah, no.
So we got a lockout, and we all hated each other, and
it's like the perfect recipe for.
Yeah, it was.
There was some bad feelings. I mean, they fired our drummer.
Yeah.
We had a producer we were not freaking happy with at all. They had fired our producer, who was our mentor and like one of our best friends at the time. So there was a lot of bad shit going into that thing. So it was not going to do well.
They sabotaged the whole thing.
And then I don't think too. I think we thought in some way in our young minds, like, oh well, now we're on a major label and we're gonna have to kind of make some songs like this. They kind of eliminated what I do in the band a lot. And I don't know if that was something that we did intentionally or not, but
no, and like I think we had Rodney and like higher ups talking about like you doing less screaming and more like cleanish vocals. They were really pressing that, I remember, and it's like, oh, what the fuck? And then they neutered our whole sound because they fired our drummer at the time, who was the guy who went to my camp, Jared. He like was in the band, got fired, and who's a professional studio drummer. This guy said he couldn't play the click. Idiot. So I don't know. And he was like writing like the choppiest, raddest.
Just
making it interesting. And then God bless his heart, we had our buddy Sammy come in to do drums, but he just kind of threw some basic stuff down. It wasn't like nuts, and we didn't really have any references to give. Mm-hmm. So we were under the gun with time, and we had to just kind of like, all right, here's our record.
Here it is. Enjoy.
Yeah, it was rough. That's wild. But at least we had some good memories where we recorded at.
That's true. Always have the memories.
Why would they do that though? Why would they like, here's a record deal and then just kind of blow it up?
I just don't think they knew it. So they were starting a new rock department.
Matt Penfield had signed us.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with him.
Mm-hmm.
And they had, let me tell you who was on their signings of the same exact time. Coheed and Cambria, Lamb of God, who else? Acceptance.
Us.
And
System of a Down.
And somehow it was not that important.
And they signed us because like our management team, and we have a good story, and we had like a lot of following, but they didn't know what to do with us. They just had no idea what to do with us. They like signed this group of bands, and they're like, we're gonna figure it out. And they loved the first record. They liked how angsty it was, but that was the whole thing, was like, let's re-release that and go off that. But then they felt like we toured on it too long. It's like, well, you guys told us to. Like, I don't know. It just seemed like they were very confused on what they wanted, and maybe we're a tax write-off.
That's right. Most likely.
That's wild. I mean, you hear that a lot, right? It's like part of the business.
Yeah. Well, they call it getting shelved, right? Whatever.
Is that what it is? Yeah, that makes sense.
Dipping your toad in the jacuzzi.
Changes every time.
So it was crazy.
Like Toad.
So you call your balls?
Jimmy Toad.
Jimmy Toad.
Jimmy Toad. Joey Balls and Jimmy Toad.
I mean, you guys have like there's ups and downs, and I mean, you have a good attitude about it all. I mean, I'm sure there's been moments where you're angry, maybe you still are, but I mean, how have you navigated over the last 25 years? Like, you're broken up and then you're back together. And I mean, was there ever a time where you're like, this is done for good? This will never continue again?
Oh yeah. I mean, so our last breakup, our very like public ending in 2009 or 9 in 2009, we did Rattlesnake, which was like, in my opinion, the best record we have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the first record was great. Rattlesnake took this band to a different level. It was just like true, honest, like all that aggression that we had from like the past, like just really comes out in that record. And then we did the Toxic cover, and once we like recorded that, we were like, this song's gonna be insane, like it's gonna blow up like crazy. It's so stupid good.
I got disheartened. It was, and this is another how the business works, and how sometimes it's disheartening. We were so proud of Rattlesnake and the album. We were gonna record Toxic to be the single of that album. They go and they take Toxic and make it the lead single on Pop Goes Punk, and that album goes number 10 on Billboard or whatever the hell it did, and they released it the same day as our album. So nobody's gonna buy our freaking album.
Yeah.
They're all buying Pop Goes Punk, and yeah, we're gonna get 25 million streams, and it is gonna do great because it's an amazing thing. But that was supposed to be the single for our freaking album, and so you're out there and you're touring, and you're going, my God, they know the song, but nobody's hearing what we want them to hear, right?
Mhm.
Like this was
it's supposed to be like a gateway
it's
drug to the record.
get into this record because this record's special, you know, and it didn't turn out that way, and I think that was a breaking point, you know.
Yeah, and well, the breaking point, I think it sucked and we were in a bad place. We would have survived, but then we got our van stolen, which had like all my gear
Oh,
since
yeah.
I was in high school, like everything I ever had as far as music equipment, and all I had was like a couple Schecter guitars that they gave me for free. That's what I'm playing now. Like I've had those since then, and that's all I have left of all that stuff. But like all my Gibson guitars, all my amps, my amp that I got for like high school graduation, all my pedals collector, like everything was gone, and I was just done after that. I was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, I think
I was like, I'm
Yeah,
not a
Jesus.
musician anymore. I don't have any fucking equipment. So
I think I had gotten a girl pregnant too.
oh, yeah, there was that whole thing.
Life was going that way, you know. So you know, but truthfully, like, you know, we've been talking about, if you're thrown into that world at 19 years old and literally that's all you do for 10, 11 years, right? I mean, what was it? How much? It felt a lot more than 6 years.
No, it was 2001 to 2009.
Yeah.
8 years.
Yeah, 8 years. But I mean,
yeah, time went by a lot slower.
it did. It just, I mean, I felt that decade, and, you know, whatever. I say sometimes when you're in a touring band, you age, you know, a lot. It's like dog years, right?
Mhm.
One year equals 7 type of deal. But I'm grateful to have all the experiences I had until now, and you know, we're still able to make music, and I think that's all that really matters at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah, and I think like at our height, like the tours that we did, I think it started with the Brand New tour. We did main support for Brand New after Deja Entendu, right? It was after that, or were they writing that?
No,
It was after that.
Yeah.
They were playing the songs. And then we did the co-headliner with Mike Kim.
Taste of Chaos.
When was the Head Automatica tour?
Dude, I don't.
That was a little later.
Yeah.
We did a co-headliner with Head Automatica, but they hadn't really toured yet, even though they were huge, and they knew that they were huge, and everyone knew that they were huge, but they hadn't toured, so no one knew their draw. So we did a co-headliner with them. We just ended up switching spots with them halfway through.
Just like,
It's crazy.
Yeah,
just take
you're
it.
good. You're good.
That's a
Yeah.
great band. What was that
Yeah.
song they had? That was really great.
Beating Hearts,
Beating
Baby.
Heart Baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm like I said, I'm shocked that I did not hear of you guys back then, because like that's all me and my friends listened to was that style of music. I mean,
And
I
go ahead.
no, I was just say I just loved. I don't like the real heavy, always screaming stuff. So when you have the melodies and you add that to it, I love that. That makes sense to me, and I just don't know how I.
No, it does. You know why? I'm a freaking shit screamer, dude, and I can't handle it. So if I didn't have Dan, I'd go nuts, dude. Like, honestly, like I need the melody. I need the. I think the screaming can add such a great dynamic and be so expressive. But to have that other side with the melody and to be able to incorporate that into the songwriting is why we make the music we
It
make.
makes it feel like
Yeah, so, no.
It's like that sweet and sour chicken.
You know,
There you go.
yeah, dip your toe to the jacuzzi, baby.
Bring it back to that one again.
oh no, it's the Tenacious D. Full circle.
That's right, Papa.
What was the question?
I don't know.
It wasn't really a question. I started talking, and then you started talking, and this is the joy of.
I just think now that we look back on it, like we were kind of just like a band's band. Like we were like the homies. Like, yeah, we did get big, but it's like, who bought those records? I don't know. Was it all the bands we toured with?
I'm telling you right now, the response that we've gotten off of Shooting Star releasing the single on YouTube is people are to see, my God, I'm 37 now, and I knew every word of this song, and it meant so much to me, and it created the person I am today and the music that I listen to, and this was my gateway to all of this stuff. And I never responded to anybody's comments ever. I'm learning how to do internet shit, I guess. But I've taken the time to try and respond to every single one of those comments because I feel it. And I think they deserve it as much as we do to, experience this. And it is so nostalgic, and it was a time in our lives that, I mean, a lot of people keep saying it was just better times, different, just better times. And I truly can, I can morph myself back into that time period where music felt fresh to me, and and finding new music was so exciting, and
yes.
being able to write something and hear it back and say, I've never heard that before, and this is the most excited I've ever been in my life, and I'm our biggest cheerleader. But still, at the end of the day, like, other people were having that same experience, and it's so great to be able to share that with them and reignite that and have them feel that feeling again. I think that's the most special part about doing this re-release.
Yeah, it's I talk about this a lot just because, you talk about a simpler time, right? And like music discovery, and I always talk about how, like, when records were released on Tuesdays and how fun that was, going to the record store and getting a new release. It just, I always say the internet is a blessing and a curse. I mean, you're having a ton of success on YouTube with this re-release. That's awesome, right? But like, it's different, obviously, than what it was 25 years ago. So
100%.
how have you guys kind of, like, you've seen, like, what it was 25 years ago to now? Like, what are some of the things that you dislike between the two, or maybe like you like better? Is there anything?
Between the two versions?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you grew, you started out when, you had to go buy, actual physical copies, to where we are today. It's like all streaming and all that kind of stuff. Like, you guys were slinging like CDs, and now it's like, it's not a thing.
I guess it's cool to be. I mean, we haven't even really seen it play out until we fully release this record. But I guess, like, it's cool that you don't need a label to move forward and, like, be discovered, but you do have to play this game that I don't really want to play. It's a different kind of game, It's not get signed by a label. It's this whole, like,
Trick the freaking algorithm, dude. Like,
I'm gonna say that word.
I despise the idea of management. All it does is allow me to have more time where I'm not like breaking my brain trying to, like, get the band to go in a certain direction. But
with hashtags.
but like, one of the things that pissed me off so bad recently was like, well, you guys got to really improve your Instagram game, and you got to do this. And I just said, you know what? Fuck you. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go make a live album, and we're going to start a fucking podcast, and then you can get all the clips that you want. But if you think that I'm going to sit there with my fucking cell phone and say, hey, it's JB, come check me out in fucking Austin. No, that ain't going to happen, bro. I ain't doing that shit.
I love that. I love that. How do you really feel?
Actually, a good idea. Should use that for the podcast.
Just plain noodles.
Good boy.
Is that my Ozempic rage? Like, Joe hasn't eaten in 3 days. Fucking awesome.
I don't think a mukbang would be a good idea.
That's crazy.
Oh, sorry, dude.
Yeah, tell us how you really feel.
Like, anyone that has that, but, like, I don't want to do that.
No, but that's like, I'm not interested.
I'm like, can't we just be a band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, that is the game.
It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, like, year one, we were not, like, 2024. I was like, nah, I don't want to do anything on social media. Like, I don't give a shit. 2025 we started doing a little more, and I think 2026 is like
We're keeping
Yeah,
each other
fun.
accountable now. No, it's like, hey guys, keep to the schedule. We gotta do this. Hey Nick, schedule a post for 4 a.m. and hopefully it's not on a Friday or what it's good. You know, we're gonna get the best traffic on a fucking Tuesday or whatever the hell it is. You know, like some stupid shit.
The Instagram in particular is so. There's so many bands that have so many more followers and obviously do not have as many listeners. And the engagement you guys get is sometimes even better than that, like the amount of likes and comments. But they have so many more followers. It's like you've cultivated this very very loyal following. Yeah.
You can be a we.
Yeah, you're part of this too. You know?
I guess so, but I'm there. They're not there for me. They're there for you guys. Your handsome
They're not there
loves.
for you yet. Live albums coming out.
And then they'll see me.
Yeah, I think the cool part is it's like with my daughter, she's really into tangible music assets, right? So like anything that she can get her hands on, whether it's a VHS tape or it's a vinyl record or anything like that, is it's funny because she grew up in this digital social media world, and all of it is 30-second hits of song grabs and this, that, and the other, and she gets the most reward out of holding that record and opening up the sleeve and reading the lyrics the same way that we used to be able to do that. That was the only way that we could to digest or intake music. And we never had vinyl records before, and we have 2 vinyl records out now. We're gonna have a 3rd vinyl record out, and that's great. And we'll release this, and depending on how it does, maybe we'll make a vinyl record of this one. And we have that opportunity today. But the best part about being old is that your fans get old too. Right? And your fans are old, and the best part about that is they get real jobs too.
Yeah.
Right. And so they're able to help contribute to us being able to have our experience too.
How and your daughter, not sure how old she is. I hope my son is 8. My daughter's almost 4. I'm hoping for like a resurgence of what you're saying, like physical copies of records. Yes, there's a vinyl, that came back like what was that 10 years ago? I'm surprised it's been kind of hanging on that long. Is it 10 years now? Probably about
I think
that.
it started ramping up about 10 years ago.
It was always kind of a thing like in the background, but yeah, it started really.
I think it really will. I see kids, like what's really in right now is digital cameras. And I think it's so saturated, all the technology out there. Kids they see that, they used to do this without this, you know what I mean? And I think it piques their curiosity and they want to get into other stuff, analog stuff.
Yeah. I've got my daughter a couple CDs and shit. Because like that album sleeve is like not nothing. Like it's something.
It's awesome.
The idea of having to go and get your artwork and find somebody that his job was to make the artwork, right? And then you have all these artists putting their time in to create the perfect situation for your piece of art, right? Like I miss that shit.
But I remember like getting CDs and just freaking like
oh, me too, dude.
Days on end. Like I would go to that CD, listen to it, and just stare at like the lyrics and like whatever was in the background of the art and just like pick everything apart.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got, a pretty sizable physical collection. I've got hundreds of vinyl records. I've got a bunch of CDs, and like sometimes I'll just sit there and look at each one, and I'm not even listening to anything, but I just go, man, like I remember how this album made me feel when I got like, or when I first heard it, or this and that. And like when people come over, it's something you can talk about. Like I love when people come over and they look through my collection and go, oh dude, you got this? This is great. It's another element than just having a song on a phone,
Yeah. It's just music in general. Like I said this all the time. I can apply certain albums or bands or songs, like just certain moments in my life, like meeting your best friends, like, a girl that you're dating, meeting your wife or whatever it might be. It's just like, it's such a powerful thing and a powerful connection. I can remember like just walking into record stores and like not even having a plan of what I wanted to buy. I'd walk in and I'd be like, who do you have playing right now? And they'd tell me, and I would just buy it.
The one time, dude, I'll never forget it. I walked into Tower Records, and this was after the band was kind of already doing its thing, and for some reason, I would never listen to other bands at our level or making music similar to us because I didn't want to get tainted by it in some way or another.
Same, yeah.
So I just wouldn't. I'd be listening to Led Zeppelin or something. I'd try and find something else. But I think I walked into a Tower Records and they used to have these, little stations that were spinning the records, and I heard Comeback Kid and I thought I was gonna explode from
Wake Up
happiness.
Today.
Dude,
Yeah.
when I heard that and I went nuts, dude. I called Dan, I called everybody. You gotta hear this, dude. And I still get goosebumps today just thinking about that one moment in Brea, California. How
That
excited
song's
I got.
so good,
Dude,
too.
I was like, oh, this is it. So
Yeah. And the career that you had, how have you the fans that you've met along the way and that you've connected with, like how important has that been for you guys?
it's everything.
Yeah, it's so important. I mean, if they weren't, we knew that we had diehards, and like I think playing our first show, seeing like one of our first like fans who was like this young kid named Gus, he like came out to our show, and I was just like, holy shit, dude! Like I can't believe you're here, and you're like I mean, he was a little younger than us, but I mean, he was like our first like true fan. Went to every show in California he could, like as far as as far as he could go. He would go up to Fresno or whatever, like drive there, and he came out to the Coliseum in 24, and I was like, holy shit, dude, what the hell? So I mean, that kind of stuff like really just like keeps it, and like putting up Shooting Star and like seeing the comments there, like that just keeps the fire lit like no other. Like there's nothing that lights it harder than that, for
It's
sure.
touched so many lives. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's pretty nuts.
That is the thing. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, you could always do better in re-engaging your fans, I think, but I think I've always liked the mystique behind, hey, you don't really need to know me more than what I gave to you on that record, right? Like if that's the way you want to relate to me and that's what made you feel, I ain't gonna taint it with some other shit. Like there you go. That's for you.
But at the same time, we do have a podcast now, Good Guys Bad Band, GGBB.
That's right.
Little plug there, where we kind of like are just ourselves, and like anyone who wants to tune in and kind of see,
yeah,
because we're like this, and we're kind of douchebags, but like,
we are.
it's hilarious. It's in a
all dipped the
in a
toe
very
in
like
jacuzzi.
endearing way, I would say.
Yeah.
So, like, we're just stupid, and it's hilarious.
I'd much rather do this all day long, right? Than I love hearts on Instagram. I hope I get 1,000 of them every post, right? But I don't feel that in any certain way. There's no real connection. This is the closest human connection I can get. Now these comments on YouTube, they're serious, right? Like reading those, like seeing the actual the way that we touch these people is special, and it's like Dan said, it's burning a fire in my under my ass right now, so that's great. In my ass, inside of it.
It's burning.
Brought that one back.
There's a cream for that.
Check out our podcast if you want more like that.
On Spotify, Apple Music. YouTube.
Just started releasing on YouTube.
Stop plugging.
Yeah.
No, we gotta plug, dude.
What are you most proud of when you think about the band's legacy?
Rattlesnake.
Yeah, I think
No, I
kind of like perseverance, even like in the early years, even before we got together. This perseverance, like everything was like on our side. We were on this upward trajectory. Then just like everything just kind of went off the rails. And Joe and I still found a way to persevere, and then like even left on such a high note. Like when we broke up on a high note, which always feels good. It does feel good. Never thought I would like come back to it, but when so much time had passed, and I felt like I had enough separation from all that loss, from all the equipment and just drama and everything that was going on. Yeah, I just I really wanted to do it again. I like looked deep down and I was like, oh yeah, let's do this for sure.
Dan and I have been friends since we were 14, and I think the coolest part about the band is that it's the one thing that's kept our friendship together for so long. And not too many people can say that, their best buddy or their brothers, sitting right next to them and doing cool shit with them all the time. And especially at 43, when you get wives, kids, and life happens and it pulls you away from it. Now, my wife, honey, I love you. I just thought I'd throw that in there. So I don't get locked up in the cage tonight, but
The chastity cage.
but it's really great to be able to do cool shit and have a good friend by me where it's therapy for me a lot of times. And so I think that's the best, most everlasting part of this band, is being able to have this friendship.
It's great. That's great.
Thanks.
What would you say Rattlesnake best describes or represents you guys, or is there a different album that kind of?
And don't forget to breathe. Like we were talking about this on one of our previous episodes. I think when I think of a song that represents the band and how it started and what it was for us, it's off of And Don't Forget to Breathe, right? Like there's a song called Love to Hate, Hate to Me, and it's a really back and forth vocal song with Dan and I, and we kind of wrote that saying, this is the new shit. This is what we're gonna do. This is what we want it to sound like, and that's that. I think us maturing as musicians and songwriting and a complete piece of work outside of And Don't Forget to Breathe, Rattlesnake is that for me. I think Self-Titled is the record that got us grounded again, put us on the right trajectory of what we want to do with the band and how Dan and I write together, and where we were most comfortable making music and what we wanted to share with people. And I think Rattlesnake was the evolution of that. So
yeah, and there's Fossil Tito. That was like the second record, the sophomore slump with the major label. So like that was kind of like the off the rails point where everything just got screwed up.
it did.
And if someone's unfamiliar with you guys, what are the 3 songs they should check out in order to kind of understand who you guys are?
Everybody give them 3. Nick, hit them.
Shooting Star,
Okay.
Live version.
Live version. Like that.
Rattlesnake.
The song?
Yeah, the song.
Okay.
Not the whole album, but the song specifically. And I think Hang 'em High would be number 3 for me.
I like that.
It's a little bit of everything,
Yeah, I would go with I'm gonna go with like spectrum of sound, not necessarily like representative of each era, but like I think We Go to 11, The Turn.
Mm-hmm.
So those 2 songs, We Go to 11, The Turn, and I'd say The Collision.
Ooh.
Those 3 songs are like where we can go, which is like there's heavy, there's brighter, there's lighter. Like we've done a lot of different kind of stuff, but it always ends up sounding like us, which is cool. I don't know how it does it, but somehow with the magic sauce that we put on it, it does it. So
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Song for a Broken Heart. The Artist Sharing Lovers, and Bear Trap.
Bear Trap's a good one.
What was the question?
3 songs that nobody's heard of us, what they should listen
Oh, what
to.
they should listen to? Oh, shit. Love to Hate, live version. I'm also say Collision. That song is perfect. There's nothing wrong with that song whatsoever. Underwater Knife Fight.
Ooh, it's a good one
that's a
too.
good one.
Aller Diables.
So you're gonna make us stand in a line and you're gonna play one of our songs. We have to jump to either side. Like
We're new to Instagram, so like
That's good content.
you gotta let us know.
And if you can find it, Radio Flyers demo version.
That I was gonna say that one, but I was like, well, we can't get it
It's a deep cut.
It's a deep cut. If you can find that one,
It's out there.
somewhere.
it's on YouTube, I think. So was
Somewhere.
GGB.
Good guy, bad man.
Would you say there's still unfinished business for the band?
Oh fuck yeah,
Oh,
dude.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's some stuff
I
coming.
mean, just kind of everything that we've talked about, like all the stuff that we've had against us, and kind of like being that band. I don't think it's ever going to be. I think we've had our time to shine, and we've done that. But I think just like just having our presence felt that we're back, and like
I think we just always want to fucking prove something, right? Like our shit's fucking dope. Like I listen to bands that came out when we came out, and the new music that they're releasing definitely isn't on point with the shit that we're about to release. I promise you that. It's not. Yeah, they continue. They probably have 12 records, right? Well, maybe the biggest blessing in our life is that we stopped after record 4 and we're able to pick up right then and there.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we are, and because literally the songs that we're about to release feel like direct extensions from where we left off in 2009.
Yeah, they do for sure.
Very cool. Well, the live version of "And Don't Forget to Breathe" is out now. You said you're getting some on vinyl as well.
No, well, I haven't discussed that with Smart Punk yet, but
Gotcha.
I think we just we mentioned it, so hopefully, we'll probably do that.
I want to print it on clay.
Yeah, the oldest version of vinyl.
Shellac is close.
Papyrus.
Yeah,
I
that's
just want to
great.
write it on papyrus.
Cuneiform tablets, dude. What are you doing?
Braille.
You just read it. This is dope.
So tell me your story about Pete Yorn.
Oh, so I've been a Pete Yorn fan for it's been since 2003.
He was on Columbia.
He was, yeah. I actually have some kind of vinyl poster or something like of his. I found him by accident. I was dating this girl, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, the new Pete Yorn album came out today," and I had never heard of him before. So we jump into the record store, buy it, she puts it in, and I was like, "Wow, this is really great." That we dated for maybe a month and a half. And I started digging into his album prior to that, Music of the Morning After, because this one I'm talking about is Day I Forgot. And just been a huge fan ever since. I've seen him, I don't know how many times now. I'm actually going to see him in Philly in June. I just met his uncle maybe a month or two ago. He actually lives, he's neighbors with a good friend of mine. And I actually went over his house and we're just talking, and it was weird conversation because like this is his uncle, so he obviously knows about his nephew, and I'm just like sitting there talking about Pete, like we're best friends, and that I know about him because I've listened to his live records and hear him talk, and obviously Instagram and shit like that. And I'm talking, I'm like, wow, that sounds really weird for me to say, who's a complete stranger. I'm kind of like telling him stuff he doesn't know, It was just it was funny, and then he's like, I'm leaving. He's like, you're a good guy. I can tell. And he says that he's clairvoyant. And I have a good feeling about you. I'm going to call Pete when we're done here, and maybe we can hook things up for the show in June. I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. Whatever. Like, I don't know. So like a week later, he calls me. He's like, hey, we're going to that show too. We'll meet up with you in June, and maybe we'll head backstage. I don't know. But
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
That is
just
so
Cool, man.
My first experience with Pete Yorn was we were rummaging through Sony Records offices, and we were at Columbia, and we
took
found
everything.
we found the stash of all their promo CDs.
Abandoned Pools. We got Pete Yorn. We got
so much stuff, and we fell in love with them at that point after we got that record for sure.
Was that Morning After? Is that what it was?
I think it was. Yeah. What's the
like 2002-ish, 2003?
I think it was 01 was Music for the Morning After, then Day I Forgot. Then it was Nightcrawler. That kind of like had like a trilogy type feel to it. Morning, day, and then night.
Morning After. I don't know if we got it from Columbia or if we got it from like, I don't know. We must have been shopping the first record before or something, or like
we might have already been put on it, and then
because we had like our manager was getting us in with labels, like the big labels, like early on before we got on Ferret. So we were talking to like Craig Aronson a lot. He was trying to like take us under his wing for a little bit, and like
Warner
he was head of Warner Brothers. He was trying to take us under his wing and like shape our sound. We're like, nah, we're not gonna listen to you. We're gonna go do this other thing. But when you said Claire Ball, it reminded me of that joke in Zoolander when she's like, I'm bulimic. He goes, you can read mine.
Oh, that's funny.
He was that he had some instances where he was like saying things that he's like, am I right? I'm like, yeah, actually you are. So
Oh,
I
that's
don't know.
awesome.
Crazy.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
I was trying to get him on this show for the longest time. We connected on Instagram, and he told me to reach out to his people, and I did connect with him, but nothing ever was able to work out. So we'll see. But yeah, he's just been one of my favorite artists for 22 years now, 23
That's
years.
awesome.
Right. That's
I
so
hope
right.
you get that. That's
Nice.
big.
Yeah, but I mean, thank you guys for your time. I mean,
No, I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Well, I don't take for granted like the opportunities that I get to like, talk to people who have had, all this success and who aren't assholes, and just be able to talk to you guys about like, the journey. And hopefully, some people who haven't heard of you, maybe, you get a couple more fans from this, but that's like why I do. I love talking about music and hearing people's stories and the good, the bad, the ugly, it's just, it's a lot of fun. And I just feel very honored to be able to have these kind of conversations.
Yeah, and when the live record does come out, just go grab like one of those weird small build hats, a track jacket, put some like sweatbands on, and listen to it in that
Okay.
sense.
Yeah,
It'll really
on a
help bring it to
treadmill.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for being able to reach out to us and have us on and get us to connect with some of the people that are connected with your show. So it means a whole lot, especially with this record coming out. And we are trying to refresh memories here. And I think this is interview 1, podcast number 1 of telling people, hey, it's out, and you're the guy to do it. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm honored. Best of luck with everything. Like I said, the album is out now. Anything you could tell us about the rest of the year that you can share that's happening before I let you go?
Yeah. We have new songs, so we definitely, we're setting up a single release for one of our new songs. We're gonna let this album play out and do that. We're going to be in Texas here playing some shows. We have a couple more things booked for the rest of the year, but we are in full writing mode. I think where we're at this point in our lives is we just want to create, and we want to do the things that make us happy. And generally, if it's making music or something involved with making music or shooting our music, that's what we want to do, and that's what we want to be a part of, and that's what we'll invest our own money into doing. So there's going to be a whole lot of that, and we're going to continue to release it on YouTube and make it available to people so they could share it with us. And we're going to keep investing back into ourselves, and hopefully we'll be able to continue to do cool shit and go across seas and play to people and share these experiences with other people.
Awesome. Well, best of luck, and thank you again.
Well, thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.
Take care, guys.
All right, bye.
Bye.